This is Work Environment in ISO 9001-2015, Part 4. Welcome back. Next, we're going to talk about the physical environment. In this case, we're talking about physical factors such as heat, cold, noise, lighting, or other workplace factors that might cause somebody to not be able to do their job properly. Physical environment has some overlap with other parts of the standard. There's some overlap with preservation because there might be workplace environment issues that deal directly with the temperature stability, moisture, and static discharge, for example, of the product. I'm going to look at the SDS or other literature to see if there are requirements in this case. There's also some overlap in safety in areas such as exposure limits, noise limits, and PPE. There's a lot of conversation as to whether I, an auditor, can write a nonconformance that's related to safety. But I can write one for not following procedures. So if there's a safety requirement listed as part of a work instruction, I may feel obligated to say something. The third area of overlap is with work instructions or operating procedures. The classic is an operating procedure that requires an operator to do an activity for 30 seconds, but the environment and/or physical layout of the job might not permit it. If that's the case, I'm obligated to say something. So here are my audit trails. Management may have examples of programs to improve the physical environment. And in this case, I'll ask that question and celebrate success if there is any, since I believe strongly in celebrating success. I might look at some OSHA regulations. There's no specific OSHA requirement for temperature, but I can find other areas of possible audit inquiry. Most companies with an active SH&E program are already monitoring workplace exposure, and evidence of this is a PPE requirement. Can I, as an auditor, say something about it? Since I am not a safety auditor, my scope may be limited, but I might be able to probe into this a little bit. Finally, the standard requires an organization to maintain the environment. So if I find some necessary equipment for workplace environment installed but not working, I have an opportunity as an auditor to say something about it. So here are some possible audit questions. I might ask top management, can you show me an example of how your company makes improvements in the workplace environment? I might ask a technician at an inspection station, is the light above this inspection station adequate for you to do your job? For a floor supervisor, I might ask, is the environment around here too hot, too cold to allow people to do their jobs? What's the process for communicating this to management? To a worker, I might ask, can you do your job properly under these conditions? To the safety manager, I might ask, what's the incidence of lost time or reduced productivity because of workplace environment issues? To a supervisor standing in front of a broken ventilation fan, I might ask, how is it that you're not maintaining your ventilation program? Let's summarize what we've learned about work environment. Most companies at some level already have programs in place to monitor and improve work environment. The area of highest risk is external requirements. That is, if I find out your customers have requirements for this, it becomes an issue as an auditor, can use as an audit trail. A further risk we have is whether or not you're flowing requirements down to your supply chain, that is your suppliers, especially in the case of some of these non-discrimination issues. A nonconformance can be issued against 714 in cases where there's a workplace requirement, as determined by someone besides the auditor, and no objective evidence of conformity. That's it for Work Environment and ISO 9001-2015. Check out some of our other videos on my YouTube channel, Get ISO Help. Check my website at www.iso-help.com for more information, and thanks for watching.